So we had to do some work to the XT350. We were having some carburetor issues, and we took the bike apart just enough to get to the carburetor. Took it into our local mechanic for a cleaning and rebuild. As far as working on the bike and figuring out the bulk of the bike, we are very comfortable exploring and trying out new things, but I'm not ready to tackle the carburetor, especially this XT350 carburetor. It's got like a dual carburetor setup. So we took it to our local mechanic, and he got it back to us in record time. And we're gonna shoot a video of putting the bike back together. And if you're wondering how to get to it, this is gonna be, I mean, just watch it in the reverse order, you know, but it's a very simple process. And that's what's so great about the model of bike, the XT350, the TW200, and even my Yamaha VMAX. It may look like a huge project, but with just a little time, a little bit of Googling, a little bit of YouTubing, anybody can do it. So stand by. So just installing it back in, there's very few, moving parts. We have the two fittings here that are gonna fit on the carburetor right here, and it's just gonna fit in like so. Some things to keep in mind, if you're really squirrely about it, is which to remember on the throttle, like on the throttle cable, the throttle and the return cable, and maybe some of the hoses that are associated with this. I asked my mechanic not to take anything off, or if he did, if he could put it back, because I can be a real dum-dum on those kind of things, and I'd rather him just leave them there. But yeah, he did me right, as always. And first step is to fit it in, and we're gonna mate it up into there, and simple screwdriver. So getting it seated back in, not that difficult to do, but there's a little recessed ring that you have to make sure you push the carb all the way through into this rubber boot here, and you'll feel it kind of thunk in place, and then you did it right. Then it's just two for this one, it's just two screws right here, and that'll be done. And then we'll do the airplane. So the next part, now that our carb is on, screws are tightened down over the boots here, we're going to be installing the airbox hoses, and you really can't mess it up because they're labeled right and left. Excuse me. They're labeled right and left, and you can try to put them on the wrong side, but you'll figure it out one way or another. So simple, just fit it in there, and right, yeah. So now that we have our hoses on, the next step is to connect the throttle cables, the throttle and the return, and kind of hard to mess it up. The length of the cable can only go in here, and this one can only go there. Yeah, I can't make it any more simple than that. Do the tour here. So this is the throttle cable and the return, okay? I already threaded this one, but just in case, when you go to remove it, can you lift it up right here? To remove it is just this is how it's gonna look. You're gonna thread this down a little bit, and it's gonna come off the rack, and then you'll release it from the, it's fitting here. But to put it back in, you simply, and there's enough slack here, get it in its place, guide the cable, oops, sorry. The one time my little girly hands don't come in handy for me. You're good. Okay, so then the cable threads up to right there, through there, and then this goes in here, and then you're gonna thread this down or tighten this up right there. And that's it. Then you'll give you can see that's the throttle, and then that'll be the return. Now I have to tighten it up a little bit because it's a little, it's just stiff, but that's what it's gonna look like.
And just make sure my face isn't in this.
So we got the throttle cables on. Next part, the way Caboose just said it, probably really didn't need to film this part. This is a plug and play. The gas tank is gonna, right here, these two little nubs, can you see it? I don't wanna miss it.
Yep, go first.
Those two is gonna fit on those twos. Easy peasies. Booyah. So after getting the XT350 finally started, the last thing I wanted to add to it was a battery tender. So using extra wire that I had from another project for the battery tender, I'm just gonna splice in, and the reason why I actually cut it so short is because I want to make it kind of a custom fit that drops beneath the plastics here. But the thing I wanted to showcase, and I showed it in another video, but it's always good to bring this up again for people who have problems soldering, like this guy. Just get these easy, little soldering, pre-soldered, setups. And then all you need to do, and I already I threw some flux on there already, and you're gonna go through and just kind of interlace it as best you can. Give it a little bit of a twist. I know this looks janky and ratchety, but it's actually a really good system. And once you get it on there, just like that, you take your crack pipe lighter, that's what Caboose calls it. Hit those ends, hit that middle, and hit that end, and voila, waterproof, and nicely done. Easy peasy. And I'll do the other side just for showsies. I had this burr on way too high, but again, let's see, a bit more. There we go. Melts that waterproof seal. Do that waterproof seal, hit that flux in the center, and you got a waterproof setup there. All right. When we first picked up the XT350, and before we did the carb work, it was a very hard start. Me and Caboose would usually have to wear motorcycle boots or some type of boot with a hard sole because it was just so hard during the kickstart. And no, I would normally not wear sandals to kickstart a motorcycle, but I just wanted to show how much more easier it is. We hope our video helps at least one person. And if you watched our video up to this point, please like and subscribe. Well, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.